Yo, fam, what's good? What's good? How's everybody? Let's go. Well, welcome back to another build video. This time we're doing another Void Warlock build. This one is super fun to use, and I don't know which one's best, to be honest. The Void Soul one was super cool to use, but this one, man, using the Ruinous Effigy has just always been a great gun. I've always enjoyed using it with my Void builds, considering with Volatile and things like that, and I'm pairing it with the Astrocrite Verse, which is an exotic helmet that never got used a lot. It improves your blink, which was more of a PvP sort of an exotic, really, more than anything. But they reworked it for this season, and it's got two new functions, which is when you blink near enemies, it makes them volatile, and then also when you're using your blink. I can't remember the name of the blink, but it's a specific type of blink. When you're using your Nova Warp, it doesn't consume your super energy anymore. So you're basically going to have constant volatile enemies, and using the transmutation orbs, if you haven't used the Ruinous Effigy before, using the transmutation orbs to kill enemies, that's going to make them volatile. You're going to weaken, suppress them, I should say, and you can also reflect or heal yourself with them by standing there, and you basically stop incoming damage and consume their health and stuff. It's a really super cool weapon. Guys, if you like the content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I do appreciate the love and support. But the build itself is quite, simple. It's quite normal to what everything else is. Basically, any super you want. You don't have to use Nova Warp, but obviously the Nova Warp functionality with the teleport, it doesn't consume your energy anymore. You have to use Blink, and I'm using the Vortex Grenade just because I'm using Chaos Accelerant. And then obviously, if you want to, you could chuck on the Feed the Void for the extra, making sure for survivability with Devour. But I've really found you didn't really need it. Maybe on the harder content, I would say change it. But outside of that, Chaos Accelerant to be able to overcharge your grenades and obviously tank a bit of damage as well. Child of the Old Gods, well, I mean, this thing's just about a given nowadays. Dropping your Rift, you get a little Void Soul when it goes off and it weakens enemies. Fragment-wise, we're running Echo of Instability, so defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds to your Void weapons. Echo of Undermining, now you don't have to run this, but I have been running it, so using your Void Grenades weakens targets so they can take additional damage. Echo of Domineering, basically the second part is defeating suppressed targets creates a Void Breach. The first part, suppressing targets, you gain release mobility and it reloads your weapon. So when you're using your little transmutation sort of Titan bubble thing that you use, it basically suppresses the enemies, which causes your weapons to reload and stuff. You can also use Echo of Remnants or Echo, the other one's Echo of Resistance if you want, or Echo of Persistence if you want to keep up your Devour and stuff. But I didn't really find the need to run those, but if you do find yourself coming a bit short, then I would use them. Echo of Starvation, picking up a Void Breach or an Orb of Power gives you Devour. This Devour is absolutely one of the best things about Void, in my opinion, so make sure you've got it on. Blink Further, so the exotic itself doesn't tell you exactly what it does. So Blink Further and more frequent, weapon readies quickly out of Blink, and radar remains up, provides a moderate benefit to airborne effective stat of all weapons. Now, it doesn't tell you about the volatile part. That's a new change for the season. They haven't updated it. But basically, if you blink near enemies, all the enemies in that surrounding area will become volatile. And then obviously you shoot them and the volatile explosion happens. So super, super cool. You will need Special Ammo Finder because we're using the Ruinous Effigy, which is an exotic trace rifle. Absolutely amazing exotic. I'll always run a Siphon mod. That's just solely and wholly so you're creating Orbs of Power, and I'm running an Ashes to Assets. That's just to get my super back even quicker than normal. So you really don't need any intellect. On your gloves, I'm running a Firepower, obviously creating more orbs. Every time you get a kill, it creates an Orb of Power, and so you're always going to get grenade kills. Bolstering Detonation grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. That's so we can always have that Child of the Old Gods ready and a free way to heal, basically, if we need to drop a Rift. You can run Grenade Kickstart if you want to throw in more grenades, but it really wasn't needed. And then I'm just running a reload mod for my Void weapons just to make it easier for me. All the resistance mods, chuck them all on. I mean, you should never, ever downplay resistance. You can chuck on charges up if you want to have more armor charges up for surges and stuff, but you don't really need to. I am running 2 stacks of Void Surge, and that's just to get me that additional juicy. I think it's 17% juicy damage, so 10% is 1, and then I'm pretty sure it's 17%, and then 22 if you've got 3 on. But basically 2 Void Surges is plenty. You've also got the Innovation there as well, which is the one that gives me back my grenade energy. You can run Absolution or Insulation if you want to as well, but it's not really needed. And then onto your final, which is your bond. Time dilation, if you're running surges or anything, that's going to deteriorate your armor charges. Otherwise, I would probably chuck on the powerful attraction. The Reaper mod, every time you use a class ability, which we're going to use a fair bit, it's then going to generate yourself an orb of power after your next kill. You can use special finisher if you want to, if you really find yourself short. But with the new changes for the artifact, being able to throw the elemental orbs, you can generate yourself a lot of special and heavy ammo anyway without having to have any finders on. So just be mindful of that. You want to have elemental orbs void on 100%, communal pickups and refresh pickups. Obviously, the tangles and your orbs are going to help you. So that's about your abilities. And then communal pickups is if your teammate does, it reduces your timing and stuff. I would 100% run the elemental munitions, and you can run monochromatic maestro if you want, or I would go with the bottom one, which is the one that increases the damage of your orbs when you throw them. Absolutely crazy, but elemental munitions is 100% one you need. And then the frenzied stack, there's the one. So when you have armor charges, it's going to do more damage with every time you throw one, 15% to start with, and it can go all the way up. If you've got ×6, it stacks all the way up to ×6. So absolutely crazy. But elemental orbs void, 100%, just getting weapon kills gives you those voids, and you throw them and it can cause more volatile explosions and stuff like that. But that is the build. Ruinous Effigy is the must thing here. I really think you need it. You can use any void weapon, but this really makes it crazy. You've got the 3 versions of attack. You've got a light attack, you've got a heavy attack, and then you've got the guard. And then the catalyst gives you extra damage as well. So any targets that's damaged by your orb, which your teammates can do as well. So if they hold down the block, bring up the little shield thing, it basically weakens that target for you while you're using the Ruinous Effigy. And I think it's a 30% damage increase. They have changed it a few times over the years, but I'm pretty sure it's 30%. So the enemy will take, and it does stack with everything else. If it was going to say, if you didn't have a Ruinous Effigy, you can pretty much run any of these awesome void weapons, Le Monarch, Hero's Burden, pretty much anything with destabilizing rounds would be really good as well. But this really is a build that's targeted around Ruinous Effigy, which you can get from the kiosk. It's not super expensive. You need to get yourself a cipher from Xur and a few legendary shards and stuff like that. But it's good for easy content, hard content, everything like that. So I'm using here, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. You can stand here and basically suppress these targets, and you're going to be able to just tank damage like crazy. So that's a champion. This is the 1840 Lost Sector. So I think I'm about 25 levels under. I can't remember my exact light when I done the video, but I am 100% under, at least 20 under, and you can just stand here and tank, and you can see your ammo on the screen. It tells you when it's going to be running out. When it hits 1, you're going to start taking a hell of a lot of damage regardless of where you're standing there or not, and then you can just slam and then go from there. But that's the build. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I love making these videos, but I appreciate you for the love and support, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay groovy, stay safe as always. Deuces. GG's.